Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am Amber. That right there is Amanda. We are your woman crush show for everything sports, the A-Team. How you doing today, Amanda?
I am good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yes. Had some very exciting news today.
Ah, okay, we'll call it exciting.
Why don't
Let's
you
see.
kick us off with your thoughts, Emba?
Well, it has been announced in the UFL, definitely has shaken up thanks to Mr. Mike Rapoli and executive decisions made from the higher offices. UFL has announced the let me say that again, one, two, three teams that are either moving or no longer in the league. Two that are moving, Michigan and Memphis. So our Memphis Showboats and our Michigan Panthers will be going to other prospective cities. And the shocker of it all, San Antonio Brahmas are no more.
So let's start with that. Okay. So that was a big thing to just take in itself. What
Yeah.
were your thoughts when you saw that?
I'll be honest, I was putting money and dollars and cents behind it. And yeah, the dollars don't add up. So it totally makes sense. I'm sad that the venue, the what is it, the Superdome,
Mm-hmm.
or
Well,
whatever
I
it's
call
called,
it
the
the toilet
Superdome.
bowl dome.
I don't know.
Toilet
Anyways,
bowl dome.
I'm upset that the venue could not work with the UFL and find dates that were accommodating. It kind of makes sense seeing that one of the home games last season for San Antonio was actually played in St. Louis of all places. Figure that one out due to scheduling constraints. Who knows? Maybe they'll come back later on. Who's to say? I know that the super fans have been making posts in the UFL universe. I've seen posts from Jorge. I've seen posts from Brahma Babe. I've seen posts from our Captain Brahma, who is now
Alamo Dome.
Alamo Dome. I knew it was something weird. Thank you,
Thanks,
KJ.
KJ.
I saw that he's going to be changing to the Roughnecks. No, he spoke a little too soon because just yesterday, another bomb was dropped when they not only announced all the cities that were going to be having teams, but as well as the names. And I guess nobody listened to the fans in Houston in 2023 because when the USFL and XFL did merge to make the UFL, they spoke out, and those fans wanted an oil representation for an oil city, and that's how the Roughnecks stayed. But as of yesterday morning, we are back to the Houston Gamblers, of all things, with a whole new color scheme in a whole new venue. And I honestly am thinking it's so they can match with the Shell Stadium colors. I don't see the logic here. I'll be honest. I feel like Rapoli and the higher ups are not listening to the fans. That this is supposed to have been a league for the fans to bring that connection together, a league of opportunity, as they said. And the fans spoke back in 2023. Why are y'all not listening to it? You're losing a valuable, steady market by switching it to the gamblers. What are your thoughts, Amanda?
As far as the name goes with Houston, I was really frustrated because I feel like whenever a company is wanting to change their name, think of all the things that go into changing that name. Entails things for marketing mainly. Speaking of marketing, before I get too in depth, real quick on that note, I wanted to say if you have not been to the UFL.com yet, go check it out because they do have all their new merch on there. And if you don't know this, let me just throw a little something at you. 108 Stitches is who they are partnering with for their apparel. 108 Stitches is a St. Louis based company. and they do minor league baseball and minor league hockey and Koja. I'm not sure what that is, but that's another thing that they do. And now they're also doing UFL too. So if you have not checked out the new merch, definitely go check it out. It is comparable in cost as the way things were before. They only have t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, and hoodies right now at the moment that I have seen. But definitely go check those out because they do have all of the new teams apparel out also.
Well, are
With
they
the new
putting
UFL
I was
logo
getting ready to
at
say, are
that.
they putting the new UFL logo on there? Now, I don't know if
Yes.
everybody saw that,
Mm-hmm.
but the UFL logo itself has changed from our trademark little parentheses that were
Mm-hmm.
cornered out to an actual football that says UFL on it. What are your thoughts on
Yep.
that?
Me personally, I liked the old logo better. That's just me personally. I also think that, the two things that they had that were like this, they had a lot of times when the players were running out on the field. It makes me curious if they're going to use a lot of that same stuff or if they went ahead and purchased new things. I think that that's the biggest thing that gets me too and Rapoli's made this abundantly clear that at least in a few of his interviews that he's had today, that they have the money aspect of this all under control. So if that is the case, I find it interesting that now they're changing this to gamblers. And shout out to the people that put the oil thing in between the G. I actually really liked that. I think that if you're going to do anything for the fans that have put and invested a lot of their time and money into the league as well, I think if you're going to take Roughnecks from them, the least you can do is put the oil rig in between the G. Just to kind of give like a little shout out to the Houston Roughneck fans that were there and did support the team throughout the years. That's my personal opinion, especially because you can't gamble in Houston. What do I know? Anyway,
I'll be
that's my thoughts
honest,
on that
that
part.
time of year wearing black in a southern city is not good.
Yeah.
So black and red and yellow trim, mm, I'm not digging it. I know Rapoli's saying the money aspect is not an issue anymore, but if you're cutting off the lifeline of fandoms that you have in that area, I mean, come on, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm looking at the other logos, I'm looking at the other teams. You've got the Louisville Kings
Mm-hmm.
that are in a pine green with a lime accent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be frank, it looks like the betting logo from some of the Las Vegas gambling sites
It
with
reminds
the
me of the Vipers colors.
with no, it reminds me of the Orlando Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
more so,
then
yeah.
speaking of Orlando, you got the Orlando Storm, orange and purple, and that reminds me of the Seattle Sea Dragons. And then
Mm-hmm.
Columbus Aviators? Seriously? Why would you not go with Kentucky being closer to Kitty Hawk, where the Wright brothers brought aviation into the United States, and let Columbus be the kings? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's just so many different aspects to this that I'm trying to throw out there. I'm not getting it. I really am not.
What are your thoughts as far as hello, Keela? What are your thoughts as far as the logos themselves?
Again, the Kings looks like a betting logo. The Gamblers make no sense. The Orlando Storm just looks like a big hurricane marker that you'd find on your meteorologist weather map.
Like a Gatorade logo.
I mean, yeah, it's like somebody just spun up a Gatorade hurricane marker. Oh, we'll just make this purple and orange and ta-da. The Aviators, come on. Like, maybe they can pull something off with that, but it just looks very complicated. Compared to the rest, it's very complicated to me.
I just think that they.
And then, wait, Didn't the Renegades get a change too? They're no longer
Yeah,
the Arlington Renegades.
they're Dallas
They're the
Renegades.
Dallas Renegades, and they've moved to Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
Make that
So
make
let's go over
sense.
this. So the Birmingham Stallions obviously will still be a protective stadium with 47,000 is the capacity. Okay. Columbus Aviators will be at Historic Crew, which is 20,000 capacity. A lot of these are close in capacity.
Yeah.
Dallas Renegades, Toyota Stadium, which that's another change too. It will no longer be at obviously at the Choctaw Stadium. They will be at the Toyota Stadium, and that is 20,500. Audi Field for DC, the cap is 20,000. Houston Gamblers with Shell Energy will be 22,000 capacity. Louisville Kings, they are at Lynn Family with 15,000. Orlando Storm, Inter and Coke Stadium, 25,500. And then you have St. Louis Dome at America Center with 67,000 capacity.
I think St. Louis is the only domed stadium now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then Orlando, their stadium. That's nice, Brian. Their stadium is bought and paid for in Orlando, right?
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I'm gonna do something. Okay. All right, and if you want to join us.
No, I know that the Wright brothers were from Ohio.
Yes, and if you want to join us on the show tonight to give us your opinion, we did post the link right there. So definitely come on and tell us what you think
Let's
about
hear
these
what you
new
got to
changes.
say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know that Ripoli's going to get the publicity in the prospective cities. I mean, Brahmas are gone. I've seen it across the universe that social media has presented that a lot of these super fans are not wanting to tag along with this.
Go ahead and read that, Amber.
To your point, Amber, the fact that they picked culturally relevant brand for Kentucky, Ohio, and Florida, but for some reason said, F it for Houston, definitely is spitting in the face and existing of an all more recent real fan base since 2020. I could not agree more. How relevant does everyone else get to be? And then Houston is like, whatever. We'll go back to Gamblers that had played only one season in the city that it's named for.
Well, speak of the devil, let's bring your friend on. Hey, KJ.
What's up, y'all? How are you?
How are you? So tell us what your thoughts are, KJ, with all this news today.
I'm sad, man. This just hurts my heart. Obviously, I'll preface and say this, and this is a factual reality. Like, I would be, it may seem backwards to some other Houston fans, but I think would be less mad if they had kept some of the other teams that showed true effort to grow with or without marketing aid that existed last season. Panthers would be at the top of that list, obviously. San Antonio may have reasoning because of their, lack of soccer venue. I don't know. But I think I would be less mad if they had canned our team and kept some of the others versus the alternative. I've had people tell me, well, you should be humble. You can still have a team. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy we have a team, but we don't have the same team. And yes, there's so much more to a team than just the name. But I mean, y'all already kind of touched on it. It's like, I guess the biggest head scratcher in all of it is, Rapoli has stated that it's the more historic brand. Okay. I won't argue that that's true, but in today's modern era, unless you're talking about something that's had continuity since its initial onset, which is truly not the case in spring football, we're talking about historic meaning nothing more than just being old. Like, I mean, let's be real. I'm not trying to be rude. Love, God bless Chip Kelly or whatever, classic players.
No. KJ, but, come on. You know for a fact, even Jim Kelly hated that time in his entire football career. He has said it in interviews.
I don't know anything about his past, but I guess all I'm saying is, and I touched on this in one of my comments, like, you go with the culturally relevant branding for this, literally all three of the new teams you set up, which tells me you at least have a brain that semi-functions correctly, or someone in
Right.
marketing team does. But we just say, F it, and throw that in the trash for the fourth team that you're choosing to put a spin on. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Um, I'm going to screw up his last name, but I think it's DeMarcus from the Alternative Football Network. Covered this way back in 2023. If anybody doesn't believe me, they can go on my X page. I've literally shared this on one or two feeds already. The old link that linked to his very in-depth, detailed research article that gave all the stats and figures from the pre-merger year or the year after for the XFL and all the USFL teams. And this is not an XFL versus USFL thing. Take that in truth. It's not. This is a true just team branding, fan support component. The Gamblers were like almost dead last in every measurable category: attendance, viewership, social media following. I mean, the list goes on and on. And you're telling me because it's more historic, you want to keep that brand. It just doesn't, there's not enough of a true argument to logically contextualize and support that claim.
Agreed.
My biggest thing is this a Rapoli merger? Because I feel like at the end of the day, here we are again, changing names. The only thing that really is connected to the USFL now is the Gamblers were the old logo in the USFL. So it's like, is that the only tie with the USFL anymore that they really have? Because I didn't hear Daryl Johnson's name come out of Rapoli's mouth one time today.
I hate to say it, and this is totally a judgment call or an educated assumption on my part, but I believe that despite how much, and I'm sure he does to the extent of what you want to call majority, it's not a true mathematical majority, but Rapoli probably more than likely does have the largest percentage share out of every ownership entity currently in the league. I won't argue that, but it's still sub 50, which is what it takes to truly call you the majority owner of a corporation. That aside, I think there's still too much inner rumblings, bureaucratic and entrepreneurial ego existing within the back inner rooms of the management and administration of this league. Because if I had to bet money, this wasn't just a Rapoli decision. Yeah, he may have thought of it and said, hey, let's go with the more historic brand. But I guarantee you, whether the minute he brought that up first or somebody else did, there was some additional push from other USFL entities in the mix of things. Because literally, look at it this way, outside of Houston, and barely keeping Birmingham through all the stuff we went through in the summer, you almost scrapped the entire USFL side of the league. And I'm not saying that I'm in favor of that by a long shot. I think all my previous rhetoric has echoed that. The point being, they want to cut the conference labels, but then have some of the bureaucratic baloney still occurring in the background. Like, if you're truly a merger, you shouldn't care about the old IP if it's not working.
Well,
once you merge, you get that percentage of the revenue, no matter how you orchestrate and build the league. In my eyes, unless they
but
did it in the back rooms and contractually differently.
KJ, remember, it wasn't that long ago they got rid of everybody XFL related from front offices.
I know that's my thing. It's so like intermixing in terms of like one side does this, the other side does this. They're almost.
But what you're bringing up to me shows and is saying to me more than anything right now that when the fans matter the most, they're really not. Because if you look back at when this all started, even when Vince McMahon started this until where we're at now, look at how many changes consecutively have been happening every year.
Yep.
And team names have been one of them. How can you have a consistent marketing area when every year football teams' names are changing?
Right.
There's no consistency in that whatsoever.
I was so excited when we reached the UFL championship this last spring, because I was like, oh yes, we're on the precipice. This is literally a historic moment because we're going to reach year 3, something that no other entity, merged or unmerged league has done since, the beginning of the millennium. And here we are again, and we're basically restarting the clock. And it's just like, bro, you had the chance to make history. If you just stuck to your guns, toughed through it, you're already, as you're pointing out, he's already spending all this money to do this other stuff. Why can't we just tough it out with the things we know can work if we're willing to invest in them properly. It's not like the Roughnecks have never been here and it is a true gamble to stick out with them. We have a boilerplate example of what it looks like when you properly market the team. You will have, we'll fill Shell Stadium, easily and sell out probably in the first season if you match, the level of stuff they did in 2020. So I guess
my biggest thing is that those people that signed up for the Houston Roughnecks season tickets signed up for Houston Roughnecks season tickets.
Yes, very true.
The other teams did not know the names of the teams yet. They only knew Columbus. That was it. They knew that they were coming, point blank. Whereas in this situation, I can understand where the Houston Roughnecks fans are frustrated, is because you guys signed up for your Houston Roughnecks, the ones that you guys have been fighting for the last however many years, to stay, done petitions, put stuff out multiple times, for this to come back then today and have it be gamblers is not setting well. Am I hearing that correctly?
So with that being said, KJ, here's the big question. Are you going to keep your season tickets?
No, I've already made a call and left a voicemail about inquiring to get a refund. I wish them all the best, sincerely. I'm not going to dog on any fan that chooses to stay. Everybody's entitled to make their own personal choices. For me, it comes down to, for things that I get both personally and emotionally involved in, I want to invest in businesses and entrepreneurial pursuits that I feel truly have some level of compassion and care in the business they're running. Yes, it is about making money. That's true no matter what business you start up. But in the same token, to equate a sports league to the equivalency of a water brand is just idiotic and nonsensical. Smart Water did great in across the board. Berpoli's made great brands. I'm not arguing that, but it's a lot easier for me to pick various water brands at the gas station to change and drink on a whim than it is to change my sports affiliation for the teams I follow since I've been a kid. It's just not the same type of product. It's a whole different arena. You don't manage the business the same. There's so many different intricacies that go into a sports league versus an isolated, consumable, rapid use product like a food item or what have you, even a clothing brand. They're different. They're different types of products. Therefore, the business has to operate different respective to the product you're trying to sell and advertise. I personally think the reason that Birmingham stayed is because, and nobody knows this definitively, but it makes sense. I'm sure TDCU, and Protective were probably at the bottom end of the entire holistical tier of the past 8 teams we had from last year when it comes to venue lease costs for each season. Protective, probably, now that we see what we've seen, I could bet all the money in my bank account they were literally the lowest in terms of cost to the league, and that's why they're still here. They didn't meet their goal demand that Rapoli set in place. He just did that to light a fire under the fan base. Props to him. It was a good call, strategically speaking, but we haven't even seen if that's fully played out to its extent to do what he wants and expects us to do. That will be up to, once again, the demand of his marketing, which has more to do with the business than it does the responding fan base.
Well, I think on top of the low cost that Birmingham had, I also can equate it with, you compound that with the dynasty aspect of them.
Yeah, that helps too, no doubt.
That definitely has bolstered.
Winning is always going to bring more people, and that's more of, I guess, long-term speaking, that's my concern with some of the new teams, not necessarily so much Columbus and Louisville, but going back to Orlando. I guess maybe the Guardians did have good numbers at one point, but
listen, winning matters, but at the end of the day, they had Wade Phillips with Houston there for a while and was doing fantastic. They then moved Wade Phillips to the Brahmas, and, well, he was there for a few games, but then obviously with multiple coaching staff coming in and changing things out, obviously that wasn't sustainable. So I don't know that really helped them for moving forward, but
then here's the real question. Do you think that they have enough to bring Wade Phillips back for one more season with AJ as the offensive coordinator and then turning him into the head coach?
I thought if they do that, it
That
would be
would
a
be.
smart play. But I don't know if he's even in the right health situation to do it. That's the
I
thing.
don't
That's
think
the
he's
reason he
going
left.
to.
They left the
Oh, now
Brahmas when he
listen,
did was
ye
because
of
of
little
health
faith.
problems allegedly. So
Ye of little faith. He had a year to recoup. Listen, I can say that because I have a father that literally fought his way through a big procedure a couple weeks ago,
yeah,
and that
God bless
man
him.
is one hell of a strong man. So I know that if you have the strength
Don't
and
want
the
to do that
positivity to get there, you can get there. So
for sure.
I see Wade coming back for at least one more season, but that's just me. But I do want to ask you guys a question though.
Fire.
Do we think that Gruden could become a Orlando Storms coach or for Columbus? Gruden was born in Ohio, which is about 100 miles from Columbus, went to the University of Dayton, and then he coached for the Florida-based teams, which is the Buccaneers, for 7 years and went to his first Super Bowl with them in 2002. So do we think that that's a possibility? What are your guys' thoughts?
I could see it.
Yeah, I definitely could see it. Be his rebound opportunity. Just
I
they're
could
going to
see
claim
it.
league of opportunity. He could apply that to coaches too, just as much as players. So.
One of the
Mhm.
one of the things that I thought about, which is kind of just throwing a huge conspiracy theory monkey wrench into the whole mix. What if they brought Nick Saban in for one of the head coaching jobs? Not that it's going to pay much,
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
but do you think it would draw in the crowd in Kentucky?
That's what they. I hate to say it. If you want to really, if Mike Rapoli is all about throwing bombs, move Skip Holtz to one of these new teams and put Saban in Birmingham. That's how you get the Crimson Tide fan base to come to every home game.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Like that. I mean, that doesn't even cost marketing. It just costs hiring the guy. You wouldn't even have to market that. I
I'll
guarantee
just be
you,
like,
every
look,
Crimson
dude,
Tide fan who's written off the
10
side,
weeks,
yeah,
500,000, because you're
protected
going to
with
make that easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
could see
I think
Stoltz doing
Gruden would be good.
Kentucky.
I think Gruden would be good, but I can see him being with Orlando for sure.
Either way, yeah.
Because yes, it's one thing when you're born somewhere, but it's another thing when you've actually had a team win a Super Bowl in a state. Like you're going to want to go back and claim that in another league with another team. So it's just another notch on your belt. And speak of the devil, right here from this man who's my father, John Gruden would be a perfect hire, gets him back into coaching and making his climb once again.
That's another thing to the point of bringing in the broader fan base. Just like I kind of posed with Saban in Birmingham, the folks from Tampa Bay would be willing at that point to make the drive, would be incentivized to at least to Orlando to watch the team play, kind of thing. So,
right,
yeah. Agreed.
Also, Rapoli did mention too that the 43 game 2026 schedule will be coming out at a later date, but kickoff is March 27th again on that Friday. He did mention that he's hoping in 2027 to start earlier, which that would be good. And then head coaches reveal is in the near future along with the uniforms. So we should be hearing about that soon too. I want to say this too. Rapoli said in an interview today with Unsportsmanlike Radio, which I like that, by the way. Unsportsmanlike Radio, that without a relationship or structured relationship with the NFL, they don't have anything ties with the NFL right now. That really honestly surprised me. Does that surprise you guys? And what do you think about the partnership with the NFL down the road?
It's not impossible, but that's a huge uphill climb. That's all I'll say. There's so much that goes into that even we as the common layman fans wouldn't even understand, I think.
When you're already farming from universities, right? So to throw another farm league like UFL in there, it's I would get it if if we're trying to make it a triple A comparison when it comes out, I can understand that aspect. I could see maybe going in there to condition a little bit more to get your skill set up to that next level. But I don't know that. I don't know. It's a toss up.
I think they would. I don't think you'd ever see a structure where like the NFL would share teams with their associated franchises they have. So that would basically preset Rapoli growing this current UFL to a 32 or 16 minimum, but I'd say 32 match team structure in order to have that true type of farm system like Amber's talking about, because even the pros in baseball have that.
Yeah.
Despite they're even a larger league size than the NFL is, and they have that establishment. So it's the biggest thing for me is, you've got a lot of red tape to work through in facilitating that. Procedurally, I don't think it's as big of a deal as much as it is doing it to the desire and expectation the NFL has, which is more bureaucratic red tape you have to walk through to get in there.
That's going to be a tightrope for sure.
What is this guy? You guys know who this one is. I don't know what he needs, but what?
The joys of just owning a lot of things,
Why are you on my show again, Spurge?
Yeah, why are you? What do you need?
So my question to the two Houston fans who work tirelessly to keep your team name and all of that stuff, worked their butts off. KJ, me and you made up a bunch of QR codes to help. Amber, I helped you with, I helped you to, say, hey, why don't you talk to your company, get tickets in there and stuff like that, right? So as we've watched this league go from 2020 till now, okay, we've seen a decline in everything, correct? Am I wrong or am I right?
100% correct.
It's accurate.
Okay. So, yes, it sucks that they're going to the Gamblers name. And as Amanda said, let's go with some history of the Gamblers. There's a couple reasons why I think they went back to the Gamblers, because if you guys remember, there was an old dude back in the day who had a white beard like I do, and he sung a song called The Gambler, Know When to Hold 'Em, all of that stuff. He was actually a part owner of the Houston Gamblers back in the late 80s.
I hate to break it to you, Spurge, but anybody below my generation is not musically cultured anymore. So
nobody's going to know about Kenny Rogers.
Just stop and listen.
The average viewer does not, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but stop and listen. But let's also, the big thing everybody's complaining about is that the Gambler, why the Gamblers? Gambling is not legal in Texas, right?
Correct.
But what is the largest poker game in the world today?
Okay, and that's fine. You can do that in an area where they allow gambling.
How does that tie back to the teams?
It's Texas. It's Texas Hold'em, correct?
Yes.
Do we know where Texas Hold'em originated at?
Oh, let me guess. In Texas.
In Houston and Amarillo, Texas is where the game originated at. So there's your tie back to the Gamblers name. Now, do I think it's stupid? Yes, I do. But I understand why they do it. But I'll even give you guys a little bit of insight. You ready? There's going to be a certain coach that's going to be coming back to the Houston Gamblers.
Yeah, Wade.
Yep, Wade Phillips, right? And there's going to be, you guys were just talking about it, there's going to be a certain coach that's going to go to Orlando.
Yeah, Grubin.
Exactly. And KJ, when you talked about Mike Rapoli and how much he actually owns of this league, see, this is where people think I'm crazy. I've done a lot of research. Do we know who the largest investor is now in the XFL or in the UFL? It is Impact Capital. And who owns Impact Capital? The Mike Rapoli family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's all entrepreneurial ego.
Exactly. So what we're seeing is a guy who took a horse stable, turned it into a multi-billion-dollar company, had his daughter sitting in a buying thoroughbreds, just raising a paddle, buying hundreds and thousands of dollars of horses and $1 million of horses. We've all said we wanted somebody with FU money to take this league over, right? I think we might actually have it with Rapoli. We wanted since 2020 people to be transparent with us.
I'm not arguing any of that. The
Yeah, we're not
transparency
arguing
thing, I
that
think,
at
is
all.
still lacking to counter your points.
It's
But-
getting there. It's getting there. I think he's
Fair
going to
enough.
start firing some people and getting rid of some bums that are in the office. I said it, not the A-team.
That would help for longevity, no doubt.
Right. He's going to fire some bums
I
that
like
are in
that
there.
dig, Spurge.
Do
I
what?
I said
Go
that
ahead.
was a cute little dig that I heard.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. You know, he's going to fire some bums and maybe hire a bum back. You know, look, here's the thing. I could say this. Here's the one thing I will say about this. And me and Arlington have talked about it in nauseum on the X-Fan show. There is not one team that is safe in this league anymore.
Not at all.
If
And
you
because of that,
Purdue-
Spurge,
If you don't know that, you are not paying attention.
but because of that, Spurge, I can understand why KJ is no longer a season ticket holder.
Listen, me and Amanda have talked about this. And Amanda, can I talk about it? This will be the first time on your show that we talk about this.
What's the point of spending the money when I can go get the tickets for half the price per game?
Amber, that's exactly what me and your co-host did last year.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do again this year. But we might not go to all Battlehawk games. We've already talked about it. We're only, sweetheart, what are we away? Sweetie, what are we away? 3 hours from Louisville?
It's like
4.
almost 4.
Yeah. We might go to Louisville games. We're only 6 hours from Columbus. We might go to Columbus games and go to some Battlehawk games in there. You know, what?
I'll say.
I mean, I know there's. Well, give me 1 second, KJ, and then I'm going to hop off.
You're good. You're good.
There's one thing that Amanda's done, and I saw her research before she went on the show and everything. She's got a list of all the stadiums and all of the capacity, and this is where I'm going to leave it at. Let's start, Amanda. That's the next thing you should start talking about.
I already did.
Look
Show
at
us how
the
much
stadium.
you tuned in.
I've been taking. Are you serious? I've been taking care of the kid.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
But let's look at the stadiums. They're all going smaller. We know here in St. Louis, the Dome's only got 3 more years of funding. We see in Orlando and Louisville what they said that if they tear up the field, the UFL's got to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be very interesting on how this plays out.
But the biggest point we're trying to listen. This is my show, so you hush it.
There you go.
The biggest point I'm trying to make is that yes, St. Louis may only have 3 more years, but St. Louis people are not going to be okay if St. Louis does not strike a deal with the America Center when that time comes in those next 3 years, and then our name is changed, and then we're in the situation. You can't keep changing the names because the stadiums don't work. You gotta stick to the names and leave it.
I am not disagreeing.
That's different. But changing team names consecutively every year is not how you control and keep fans engaged. It's just not.
All right. I'm not disagreeing, but this is what we've seen with this league. What have they done over and over and over again? Constantly changing it, reinventing the wheel, right?
Yeah.
You're
right. And I'm sorry,
it never
but
worked.
I feel like the fans are getting the short end of the stick year after year after year. How do you expect to build any sort of a loyal fan base when everything is up for grabs every season?
Again, this is like when we did the reaction show. This is where we got to get away from the league of opportunity. They need to start building the stars. They need to start building consistency with these teams.
Well, then you can't say that this is a league for the fans by the fans then either.
Well, I mean, listen, they basically dropped that motto in 2020. When 2023 came over, they dropped that motto. Everybody knows it. Everybody saw it. They dropped that motto. I mean, you saw it here in St. Louis. The fans started dwindling away. You saw it in every other city. The fans started dwindling away for the simple facts to all the points that you guys have made.
That's why you can't have mottos. You can have a mission statement of what your league is representing as itself.
Oh, you can have mottos, Amanda. They just need to stick to them. To your point.
To them. That's
Yeah.
Point well taken.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
and have no integrity with our business.
Oh, look, I'm the league of the fans, for the fans, by the fans. Oh, look, I'm the league of whatever now. I mean,
here's the one thing I'll say. like KJ is a guy that lives in Nashville. He adopted the Roughnecks for some reason. Don't know why, but he adopted them, right? Now
He's a
being in
Houston
Nashville.
boy.
Well, I'm just saying, just now being in Nashville, he can just go right over to Louisville and be a Louisville
That's why,
guy.
baby. Whose house? Whose house?
You could be a Louisville guy. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I understand that people are pissed, and I understand that people are not wanting to buy the season tickets and all of that stuff. I completely get it. Completely understand. The disrespect that we've seen as fans throughout the entirety of this league is a joke. It's always been a joke, and it's sad. It's that we need to figure something out as fans to how to make this league survive. That's the big thing. And
like any football team, sir, it starts from the top.
Here it is.
Well,
You can't expect everyone else to fall in line when the top dog is changing it all. Eventually, you will get people's trust and you will gain it throughout time. But that's
all right. Well, I gotta go because the kid's banging on the window. I gotta go.
Got to go. Bye.
I will
At the
echo,
end of the day, you cannot expect the fan base to develop if you're not going to invest in the fans.
I agree. I think to give an olive branch or a little bit of credence to what Spurge noted on, and I will acknowledge this, all the things I bring up are just kind of points of reality, not necessarily dictatives that would indicate that there's no chance of the league surviving long term. But I would say, to Mander's point and to mine, if I follow the league in any way, it would only be from this point on from a press perspective. And to Spurge's point, if they make it to a year 3, the Gamblers are still here, the Kings are still here, the Pilots or whatever, the freaking Flyboys in Ohio are still, all that is the continuity. The continuity is there. I may reconsider reinvesting into the league on some basis or another. But until then, I'm not going to play this fickle Mickey Mouse game any longer, to your point, with a league that hasn't yet established that or stuck to it. To your point, whether it's a motto, whether it's a say one thing, do another, in multiple different attributes and facets, it's not personally something at this time or in general usually that I would ever want to invest in from an ethical and moral standpoint. And,
no, I completely agree.
Well, and look at it. How much does the NFL change their stuff?
In the beginning?
They're 100+ years old, but yeah, I mean,
I know, but still, in the beginning, were they changing names like that? I don't know. I'm asking.
There was some level of change in that respect, but yeah, they were also stupid small. I think comparing that to this is also not fair, because we're in an entire different era of human history. They didn't have television back then. They didn't have all these other avenues through which revenue can be generated.
Correct. And that's my point, sir.
Yeah.
That's my point.
I agree.
You have all these outlets now. You have all the ability in the world to do things that are what, ladies and gentlemen, free of charge. That are marketing tools such as this to get the league's names out there. All of these shows, I know ours, The Bottom Line, X-Fan Show, all of these shows that are doing this media.
Not to mention the smaller markets.
Yeah.
I mean, Rick said it best. Why are the fans the ones having to figure out how to make this survive?
Yeah.
Why are the fans the ones that are going to be investing and putting money into this only to get the rug pulled out from under them yet again?
And I'm sorry if you watch. I've been watching First Take. I've been watching all these podcast shows. If you think for one red second that any of those people sit up there and literally lick the ground that all these players and coaches and all these affiliated people within the league walk on, you're out of your mind.
Got another thing coming.
Because I heard Mr. Stephen A. Smith today talking mad about, different parts of the Chiefs organization. And let me tell you, he's one of the most popular sports talk shows going on right now. So if you're going to come back and say, well, it's because these shows are saying negative things or they're not always positive, you don't want that. You don't want a clean clean, uppity show, because how you grow is by hearing from the fans, is by hearing what other people's take is on where things should be going.
My thing, Amber kind of already touched on, but it's like, let's just acknowledge for a moment, if everything they say is true about the Gamblers, it's more iconic, it's more historic, et cetera, et cetera. Would you rather in any business start from scratch, where you have literally, and this maybe isn't the case at this point, but hypothetically speaking, as Amber stated, they pull out the rug from our current fan base. If everybody were to leave tomorrow and say, I'm not renewing, your season ticket count can go back down to 0, figure it out, Mike Rapoli, since you got such a good marketing department. Would you rather build a brand from that standpoint and have no baseline, so that potentially after year 1, if the team happens to totally suck, doesn't make the playoffs, doesn't look good, you don't hire, Wade, God forbid, even though that probably will happen. If they keep CJ Johnson, you give the new fans all these excuses of why not to come back next year, no matter how much you market the team. You have no community element because nobody's been in that long and has invested anything substantial in it outside of their first purchase. Or would you rather stick with the branding you have, tough it out, pay less cost to keep the uniforms, keep the branding, maybe change the color scheme? I'm cool with that. I would have been mad if they had just changed our unis and kept our name. And you still have all that community. So even if, we struggle next year, people have things to look forward to outside the game, communal tailgates, the true family feel of an existing fan base, however small it is, that is there and is present and truly gives you a bit of homage to your team. That's things that are missed or not fully thought on, I think, with these type of switches.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
KJ, sir, I appreciate, as always, your insights, your thought processes. I'm sorry that the Houston Roughneck organization has failed you. I'm sorry that Rapoli has failed you, and that the UFL has failed you and your fan base in Houston. We'll see what happens in the future. Who knows? Maybe all of the noise that's being made may once again save the Roughneck brand like it did in 2023. I just find it strange that you recently had this conversation and the Roughnecks won that fight fair and square, only to turn around and have it taken from them. And I completely understand your frustration, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for coming on, KJ.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you.
Hey, tell everybody where they can find you, KJ.
Names in the description. The tag's the same no matter whether you're on Facebook or X. Those are the 2 main platforms I operate on. So
that's right. And you can catch KJ too on the Bottom Line Show on Wednesday nights with my cousin Eric, my dad when he gets better, and Chad. Yes. All right. Thanks, KJ.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Such a good guy. He's so sweet.
I don't know. I'll be honest.
They've had a lot of showcases going on too. They've had them in Switzerland. They've had them at George Mason University. A lot of things have been going on. I know that it just seems like a revolving door, and I know that a lot of feelings have been hurt today, and I know that there's a lot of emotions, but when you have a passion for the team, you want them to have the same passion for the team the way that the fans have the same passion for the team.
Yeah. And I don't see, I don't know how to say this properly. I don't see the business acumen in this particular city with this particular market. I don't understand why the Kings got the Orlando color scheme. I don't know why Orlando got the St. Louis Sea Dragon or the Seattle Sea Dragons color scheme. I don't know why Columbus got the Aviators. That logo's very busy. I don't understand the move of Arlington to becoming Dallas. It's there's a lot And I don't know if they thought maybe all of it at once would just be like ripping the Band-Aid off and then letting people simmer over it and then cool down or whatever. I'm wondering the legalities behind season tickets now, because you're right, people paid for Houston Roughnecks football, not Houston Gamblers football. And I'm definitely going to find out what I can from the front offices, because they don't even know who to talk to.
Listen, I'm a Minnesota Viking fan, and I can tell you right now, if Minnesota changed their name to Minnesota whatever, I wouldn't have that same feeling for that team anymore, because I grew up with my family watching on Sundays the Minnesota Vikings play.
Right.
You know, these families are literally growing up with their children, because this is a family-friendly league, are growing up with these teams, and you say, oh yeah, I remember when they were this, but didn't they change to this, or weren't they this? Like,
I mean, this isn't Barbie's Playhouse. I'm not looking for a new outfit every day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm frustrated. I'm irritated. I'm flabbergasted. I'm inconsolable.
And listen, I know when new ownership takes over, this, I mean, it's just how it goes, right? Like, at the end of the day, we're just a small little.
Yeah, but here's the kicker, though, Amanda. Here's the kicker. The fans might be a small little tick, but if it wasn't for the fans, none of it would exist. None of it would exist. If it wasn't for the fans shelling it out, players wouldn't get paid, coaches wouldn't get played, broadcasting wouldn't be done, merch wouldn't be bought and sold and produced. You wouldn't have opportunities for players into the NFL, and everybody would not be able to make any kind of a profit if it's not for the fans doing what they're doing. Flat out. I'm curious to see what the rest of the super fans are going to do. I'm curious to see what else is going to be blown up in our faces regarding UFL and how it plays out. And
honestly,
I'll be very honest. I don't see the attendance being there in the Houston area with the Gamblers like it would have been with the Roughnecks.
Honestly, none of these markets are going to matter if the teams don't perform. People aren't going to spend money to go see a team that's losing. They're just not. I mean, look at Memphis. They were giving away free hot dogs and beer for what, $3 or something?
Yeah.
I mean, fans want to see a team that wins. And if they see those teams winning, then they'll show up. I mean, I love St. Louis, don't get me wrong, but if St. Louis is losing, the fans won't be there. They just won't.
I'm not buying Gamblers gear. I'll tell you that right now.
So I never really believed that until I actually witnessed it myself.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the one thing that I did like too is that on the UFL, like with their apparel, like I was talking about, their hoodies are $65, whereas before they were more like upwards of $85. So they have come down on that. The t-shirts are $25, and the long sleeve shirts, I do believe, don't quote me, were $35 or $45.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit more consumer friendly in pricing for that too. So yeah, she just said we aren't buying Gamblers merch either.
Well, I'll be very honest. If any of the existing fan base shows up, they're more than likely going to wear Roughnecks gear, probably in protest.
They need to put that oil rig in between that G, like I saw. I'm telling you. I think that if they're going to do anything to pay homage to the Houston Roughnecks fans, what better way than to put that oil rig in the middle of that G?
I get the oil rig in there as a way to bridge the burn, so to speak. I don't see it. I really don't. I
Well,
mean,
listen,
it could be the
Houston
emotions
fans.
talking.
Listen, Houston fans. The sun will come out tomorrow. Annie says that. She quotes it and sings it. I would sing it for you, but it would be. I don't have a voice like my mother. So, no
That's
can
all
do.
right.
No can do.
Any final thoughts, Miss Amanda?
No, but I know it seemed like we were doing a lot of frustration and complaining, but I mean, we really are still looking excited. We are looking forward to the 2026 season for sure. But most importantly, we're happy that football is here and it's here to stay. So that's the exciting part about it. We're looking forward to hearing about who the coaches will be. I'm very much so looking forward to that. I did see that Anthony Beck was there with Rapoli today and did get a photo with him. So obviously, as we all know, probably Anthony Beck will be back as a coach. Fingers crossed. Better stay away from those Jets, although they may need him right now because the Jets aren't doing so hot.
With that being said, guys, I guess my final thought is if you don't like the way things have happened, voice your opinion. Get on X, tag Mr. Mike Rapoli, tag the UFL Nation, tag anybody and everybody that you think deserves to hear it. I found it very strange that in all of this marketing, when you go to the page for Facebook, it had the Gamblers logo, but it still said Houston Roughnecks.
Brahma fans were fun.
Brahma fans were amazing. I enjoyed Brahmasita. I enjoyed Captain Brahma. I enjoyed all of them.
RC.
And yeah. Yep. It sucks. It truly does.
Jorge and his tacos. Listen, what is my excuse I'm going to use now?
Houston has tacos.
Yeah, that is true. Okay.
With that being said, folks, my name is Amber. That right there next to me is Amanda. We are the A-Team. We will see you guys next week at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all have a wonderful day and get out there and tell the UFL what you think.